It's Thursday, August 7th, the last day of the week for the Joe and Joe Weather Show, anyway. So it is time for us to look ahead to Friday, the weekend, and next week. We'll call that the week ahead. So just sit back and enjoy yourself right here on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Yes, indeed. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you know why you should? Because,
Why?
well, you should because this way you can hear us babble on for 45 minutes to an hour and not have any commercial interruption. So you can easily support us, and it won't cost you a penny if you shop on Amazon. Use the referral link to get you there via the top of the chat board or on the description to this podcast. Because if you do that, you can just shop for anything you like, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin, and we do mean little, for sending you there, and it doesn't cost you 1 cent out of your own pocket. So please, we appreciate very much those of you who have lent your support by shopping on Amazon. And if you're in need of a weather station, Joe Rayo, what better than to get one from Tempest by Weatherflow? It's the revolutionary weather system, and you getting it means you join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. I actually have one. The link for this is on the descriptor to this podcast, and there is a special Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast coupon code. You know what the coupon code is?
Yes, it's summer 2025, which
That's right, Mr.
coincidentally,
Rayo.
coincidentally, we are in the summer of 2025, aren't we?
We certainly are. If you use that coupon code, Joe, what will they get?
They'll get a big 10%
That's right.
off. I did my
Oh,
Yankee Stadium Lou Gehrig impression there, so.
yes. So I made the mistake today of having a craving for fried chicken.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So
Now,
I,
where's the nearest KFC up where you live?
well, there's a KFC, but that's not the fried kind of fried chicken I'm talking about. I wish there were a Publix near me because that supermarket chain makes the best fried chicken that I've had, and a number of people that have had their fried chicken will agree. But the nearest Publix to me is an hour away. Their next April, they're building one in Blue Ridge in the next town, so it'll only be a half an hour drive. So Walmart here, they usually have fried chicken, and it's not bad. So I went to Walmart, and of course, the person behind the counter looked when I asked for fried chicken, looked at me like I had 10 heads, and he never heard. He didn't even know what it was. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and make it myself, make fried chicken on my own, and I've done it before in various ways, um, but this time around, it came out okay. It was okay. It wasn't what I really would have liked, but it was okay. The problem was that so when I'm done cooking, I don't I and nobody should be pour oil down the sink, okay? That's like the worst thing you can do is empty a frying pan down the sink. So I always empty my a frying pan, or if I'm cooking something in the oven and there's oil and grease, I pour it into a jar. I put the jar in the freezer. When the gets filled up, it goes in the garbage and so on. Well, I poured it in the jar and I lost my grip on the jar.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
So so it wasn't a lot, but I did get oil all over on the floor. And of course I immediately went into a like ice skating triple axel, and thankfully I didn't fall. But uh, so I spent the better part of the next 30 to 45 minutes getting all the oil up so that I could actually walk in the kitchen again without killing myself. So that was my day today.
sounds like you had lots of fun. Did you do a Hamel Camel? Remember that?
Yeah,
Dorothy
yes,
Hamill?
no, I did not.
Spin around like that?
I did not. It
Uh,
would what the contortion that I made was not something. In all seriousness, I could have certainly fallen and broken a bone in my out of this. So I am next time I want fried chicken, if they don't have it in the store, I'm not going to get it.
oh well, you know, sometimes you just have this urge,
I had
this
to have it.
this yeah, yeah. Oh well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, I guess.
Yes.
And we have a pretty nice weather pattern evolving for the next few days coming up. And in fact, I even mentioned to Renata that tomorrow night up here in the Putnam Valley area, we may have an unseasonably cool
Yeah,
night.
50s.
Yeah, low
You
to
know
mid
that
50s.
nice high in eastern Canada. This is one of those rare times you get an onshore flow, and usually onshore flows, particularly in the spring, are just disaster. But we're in the middle of summer. The water temperatures are in the mid and upper 70s now. You get a wind off the ocean. It's in this particular case, the air. I was looking at the dew points. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Most of the dew points from now through Saturday are generally going to be in the upper 50s and low 60s. I mean, it's certainly better than if they were in the up when they than they were in the 70s.
Well, we'll see. You know, as long as the dew point is down, if the dew
Yeah,
point stays down, I don't really care how hot it gets. I mean, it could get to 90. As they say in Arizona, it's a dry heat. I can tolerate that. But once we get the humidity up, along with the heat, and unfortunately, it
right.
looks like it's going to happen early next week,
Next week.
then it looks like it's going to be a different ball game.
Yeah. Now the dew points are going to come up, but certainly through Saturday, it's not real. In my mind, it's not really an issue. Sunday, the dew points come up a little bit instead of upper 50s and low dew points in the upper 50s to low 60s. It's more like a general blend of low 60s everywhere. But then once you get to Monday and beyond, you're going to start to see the dew points really push up. There's nothing that I saw that would be a trigger mechanism for much in the way of rain. That's the other part of this. It looks pretty quiet from a standpoint of rain for quite a while.
We may have our next shot of any kind of precipitation, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And even there's a slight chance we might even see a thunderstorm maybe pop up late on Tuesday. But if you're hoping for any precipitation of significance, you're going to have to wait a little while, at least through the weekend and into the start of next week.
Correct. And right now, at least from the standpoint of the tropics, there's not a whole lot happening.
No, we've had Dexter, and we've seen Dexter go bye bye.
Yes,
Um,
Durwood is gone.
Aaron is the next on the list. I don't think Aaron is going to form out of the area of disturbed weather that's off the mid-Atlantic coast the next couple of days. It probably will be from the system that came off of Africa a short while ago, and that system is still in question as to exactly how strong and it's going to be and how where exactly it's going to go, depending upon which model you look at. So I'm sure we'll be looking at that in just a few
Right.
moments.
Well, I think from that standpoint, a lot depends on what the Atlantic looks like because there's a weakness in the ridge east of Bermuda. So you could make a case for that if something does form, it might get caught in that weakness and turn. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. There's another tropical wave. Actually, there's probably a series of tropical waves going to be coming off the African coast, but there's one right behind the one that's coming off right now that or has come off. There's another one that's going to come off over the weekend, and that probably has a higher probability of getting further west. But there's too many variables. It's too far, way too far out in the long range. And everybody's going to do these. You're going to continue to see the social media idiots put up all sorts of maps from various runs and et cetera, et cetera. And you know that anybody who's watched this show long enough knows that you cannot take any of that even remotely seriously, because you'd be changing it every 6 hours in terms of your view.
That they're giving titillating reports. They're saying, yeah, well, if things are going to get a lot more active during the second half of the month, and we'll be watching it for you, that kind of stuff. And
Correct.
there's only so much you could take.
Um, yeah, I understand. All right, welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board. Just want to say, if you're experiencing a little bit of choppiness, it's not me. Or indirectly, it's me. Uh, the there have been some power outages around here, not for any particular reason other than the fact that transformers for one reason or another are blowing up. So if it's a little choppy, it should be temporary. In fact, I'm seeing right now that it says excellent connection, so we should be okay at going forward. So keep your fingers crossed. Glad you're here. Welcome to everybody that is lurking in the background. You can lurk in the background, by the way, Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. and the occasional Friday and Saturday when there are storms around. And we'll of course let you know that you can lurk in the background on those days. If you turn your notifications on, but before you do that, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like the show, hit the like button. So, on that particular note, we are going to start off like we usually do as we take a look at what's going on across our wonderful nation here from coast to coast and from border to border. The heat advisories from North Texas all the way up into South Dakota and Iowa and into Missouri. Also, some in northeastern Minnesota and in northwestern Wisconsin. So you have that. There's a scattering of heat advisories up in parts of Colorado, New Mexico, and in the Southwest, along with various red flag warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm watch up in southeast Montana, and it looks like we have excessive. Is that color for? Honest to God, I wish they would just make these colors a little bit more um, different, a little because. Okay, so this is a red flag warning when I'm looking up at Utah, and this is an extreme heat warning that I'm seeing across southern Arizona, southern Nevada, and into southern California. 117 today, a record high in Phoenix, Joe.
I don't know how people can live. I had a good friend of mine live there for a number of years, and actually, his marital situation became worse because the person he married, they moved from Maryland to Arizona because of the fact that he got a position in Arizona. But after a few years, she said, "I can't take this anymore. Go back. Let's go back to Maryland or whatever. Let's get out of here or whatever." And he wouldn't do it, and that led to a splitting or a parting of the ways, so to speak. But um, I don't see how, unless you are really into heat, how you can actually stand living out there. I know it's beautiful in the wintertime, but now also you're into August and Arizona and also New Mexico, they get into what is known as the monsoon season. So they're going to be seeing some hit or miss heavy rains over the coming next several weeks. So between the rains and the extreme heat, I don't know. And they probably will say the same about how could you live in the Northeast if you live in
Right.
Arizona? How do you live
Well,
in the Northeast? All those snowstorms and
the
ice and that kind of stuff.
the dew point right now in Phoenix with a temperature of 117. The dew point, Joe, is 37.
That's actually high for them. That's actually a
Well,
high
you
dew point.
can't get much lower because the relative humidity with that 117 and the 37 dew point works out to 6%. So the heat
Oh,
index, so the heat
is
index
is
is
probably
actually
lower than the is probably lower than the anticipated.
it's 9 degrees lower. It's 108.
Yeah, wow.
Sometimes when you see the dew points are low and you get a really hot day, maybe the heat index is the same, or maybe is the temperature, or maybe it's a degree or two lower. But we're talking 9 degrees lower. That's pretty significant with 108. I'm just for laughs. I just want to just take a look at Palm Springs because they're also in this. Well, Lost Horse, California, wherever that is 99. Let me see if I can get Palm Springs in this. Palm Springs right now is 117, And their dew point, though, Joe, is 39, so their relative humidity is 7%. So it's significantly it's almost 18% more humid in Palm Springs than it is in Phoenix right now.
Well, there you go.
So you can
I've
make
known days. I've known days here in the Northeast, in the New York tri-state area, where we've had a temperature of, let's say, 90 or 92, with a dew point, let's say, at around 55. And to me, that's now 55 dew point in Arizona would be like, oh my God, how humid, sticky, you know. But to get a dew point in the 50s when you're in the 90s here, that's what you would call a dry heat for us.
I was checking for it. Hawaii's got, this the olive green that you see on all the islands. They have a coastal flood statement warning that the tides are running about half a foot above normal. So and so there's that. I'm not sure what exactly what's causing that. Are we in a what moon phase are
Well,
we
the
in?
moon, yeah, the moon is going to be full tomorrow, and I believe it's also very close to perigee, so it would be what you would call a super moon. That's the fact that it's closer than normal means that the spring tides that are always occurring at the time of a new or full moon, this particular cycle of spring tides coming up will be a bit higher than normal tide, or actually, I should say the range will be greater than normal. So you'll have higher than normal high tides and also lower than normal low tides. The range is rather large during the time when the moon is very, very close, and that's exactly where it is right now. So that's probably one of the things that is inducing those advisories out in Hawaii is the moon and its unusually close passage to the Earth.
I'm having just to make a mention, some minor internet issues going on here. So if you're getting some buffering, it's not my fault. It's there's been there have been heavy thunderstorms all around me today, this afternoon, and this time around, the strongest storms went just to my west, but it's having an impact on internet signals around here today. So just bear that in mind. It usually it does clear up. Uh, so just give it a moment. Meanwhile, we do see on the satellite loop, we've got a lot of clouds in the mid-Atlantic and down into Georgia, but then they sort of tail off, and the GOES has a few missing images in there. We also have some scattered thunderstorms tonight in the south. This is about as quiet as it has been in the last 3 or 4 days, particularly in North Carolina, where they've gotten heavier rain there. Some showers, but nothing crazy, and some scattered showers in parts of Tennessee and North Georgia, back into Alabama and down into Florida. Seeing some activity there on the west coast of Florida. Also, a couple of scattered showers and storms in upstate New York and north of I-90, up toward Saratoga way. But they are going to play themselves out before too long. And as far as anything really active in the land of severe weather, it's up in the northern plains, extending into eastern Montana, where we have a few severe thunderstorm warnings going up there. And we've got some scattered storms along I-25 from southern Wyoming down through Colorado, and in New Mexico seems to be on either side of I-25. The Storm Prediction Center, where are you? Storm Prediction Center, here we go. For tonight that's tomorrow's. Tonight we have an enhanced risk across North Dakota, and that is yet to play out. And we have a slight risk surrounding that extends into Minnesota on one side and across eastern Montana on the other. As we look at the tornado risk, it's 2 to 5% tonight in North Dakota. And as far as severe thunderstorm watches are concerned, we just have that one watch box that is up in Montana, in eastern Montana, and that's really it. Everything else is just on the quiet side from that respect. Tomorrow, we're looking at a slight risk in the eastern Dakotas, Minnesota, and northwest Wisconsin, and a 2% tornado risk that goes with that. And on day 3, we're seeing it move a little further east from northeast Iowa into Wisconsin. We have a slight risk, marginal risk going down almost to about northeast Kansas, and on the other side to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And here's WPC's rainfall forecast. And again, for 7 days, so this takes us through next Thursday night. We have a whopping tenth to a quarter of an inch being indicated, uh, closer to the tenth than the quarter, from Maine down into North Carolina, and then some heavier rains of up to several inches in coastal South Carolina and Georgia, much of Florida, the Florida Panhandle, back to southeast Louisiana. Also, up to a few inches of rain from northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska, northeastward into Wisconsin, and up to an inch and a half or a little bit more as you go to northwest Wisconsin into Minnesota and North Dakota. Pretty dry out in the western states. So, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot happening here. The overall flow, when you look at the upper flow, you're kind of in a no man's land here with respect to the action aloft. Most of the winds, the stronger winds in the jet, are pulled up into Canada. How was the smoke today, by the way?
Um, I will tell you that it appeared rather hazy skywise this morning, and we also had a few clouds. But I will tell you that this afternoon, the sky looks like it has turned a bit bluer than it was this morning and for the past few days. So hopefully the smoke is beginning to dissipate a bit or disperse. I would suspect that with the winds coming from a light easterly direction the next few days, that'll actually help a bit in dispersing the smoke, and maybe we'll actually have a bluer sky coming up tomorrow and on into the upcoming weekend.
Hang on just a second, just typing something on the chat board here. So to T Snowy. Anyway, as we go through Friday, again, we're just like a weak northwest flow. Probably the reason why we're seeing the dew points hanging back the way they are. Then the ridge kind of builds up the St. Lawrence River Valley into Monday of next week and holds its own. It starts to flatten out a little bit as we get into the middle part of the week. There's a short wave from Minnesota down into Missouri that starts to move eastward. So Joe mentioned maybe late Wednesday we could see a shower or storm with that. And then you'll notice the European has got something on the lower right at day 10. Who knows if it's really there? When you look at the ensembles with all of this stuff, Joe, with these tropical systems, it almost looks like you're looking at a billiard table with billiard balls scattered in all different directions. I mean, there's no way to know how how this is all, how all these things are going to play out in the coming weeks plural.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to mention or answer a question off the chat board. Cecilia Hernandez, about 5 or 6 minutes ago, we were discussing about the tides, and she said, Joe Rayo, what are spring tides? Spring tides have nothing to do. The word spring has nothing to do with the season. When the moon is aligned with the earth, either at full moon or at new moon phase, and then you get an alignment where the sun, the earth, and the moon are in a straight line, that usually causes the tides to run higher than normal, higher at least than at other times of the lunar month. So when you have that, you have what are called astronomically higher than normal tides. We call them spring tides because it's derived from the German "gespringen." So the tides at new moon and full moon, they seem to spring up. That's where we get spring tides from. People sometimes ask me when we have spring tides in, let's say, November, December, why are you calling it spring tides? It's not spring anymore, it's autumn or winter. No, it has nothing again to do with the season of the year. It's just simply a reference to the tides springing up higher than normal at the time of new moon and full moon. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, since the full moon tomorrow night is going to be close to perigee, that's the closest point in its orbit to the Earth, these spring tides will be higher than what you would have found, let's say, 2 weeks ago with the new moon, or 2 weeks from now with a new moon. The new moon coincides with apogee when the moon is farthest away from the Earth, and so those spring tides will not be as strong or as potent as what we are going to see these next couple of days. We're very should be very thankful, Joe, that we don't have any kind of a major tropical system or even an extra tropical system or like a nor'easter
Right.
uh, area, because then the tides would really lead to possibly coastal flooding and also to maybe even some beach erosion. We don't have that. Again, the weather is going to be relatively calm these next several days, so that the level of the water at high tide will be higher than normal. But again, thankfully, it is not going to be aggravated by any kind of major atmospheric disturbance.
By the way, I did miss a super chat here earlier. I believe, oh, there it is. Steve Lapointe, thank you for hitting super chat tonight. And yes, tomorrow's David Daneo, who's not on, who's usually on the chat board, his birthday. And it's also that's right. It's Chris Alley's and Mrs. Alley's 60th wedding anniversary. So
Wow.
happy birthday to Dave. Happy anniversary to Chris and his wife. So there you go. Okay, so just to quickly just kind of look at what's going on in the upper atmosphere. I'm looking at the European, and the one thing I'm noticing is that if there's going to be some kind of tropical wave moving across this, the at least the operational run of the European suggests that there is going to be some ridging building across the Atlantic to some extent from east to west, which uh, which might suggest is if you look right here, and this is on Tuesday of next week, you'll notice that there's an upper low that's sitting out southeast of Nova Scotia. So there's a weakness here, right in this zone. So if you have a tropical wave marching along, it might want to exploit that weakness and gradually turn northward. But that is going to eventually lift out. If this lead system that's out there now may very well turn. But as I said, there's another wave that's going to come off on Sunday. That might interact with building higher pressures across the South Atlantic, across the entire South Atlantic from the southeast U.S. all the way east to the Canary Islands. And if that's the case, that wave probably stands a higher probability of going to the west. And that's what the European is picking up on. You can see that little circle there that's over the Bahamas that it takes over Florida and into Tennessee on this particular run. Now, I can guarantee you on the next run, it's going to be, there are going to be differences. So, as I said, when you look at these things, you try to sort of figure out, well, what's the general trend going to be? And that's about as far as that's probably the most that you can say with respect to these tropical systems that you see on the models in the long range. So if you're going to see them posted, as I said, on social media. But again, a week from now, we'll probably have a better idea of where this is going. But you can see on the European, the lead wave is that 10-12 low, Joe, that's out near 40 west. And it just really kind of moves northwest and almost disappears like a weak inverted trough. And then that second wave comes out on Sunday and moves westward. And as we follow it along, you can see it just kind of these L's that are, one approaching the Leeward Islands. There's another one behind it. There's another one behind that. So it looks like there's an attempt for a parade of tropical systems that may be in play late, a week from now and beyond that we'll be maybe talking about with a little bit more seriousness. But in the meantime, as we check out the weather across the U.S. and across the East, the weekend, tomorrow, looking good. Some afternoon showers and storms in the southeast scattered around, some storms up in the northern plains. You see the European picks up a solid line of storms tomorrow night moving through Minnesota and into Wisconsin. But here in the east, we're fine. Hangs on through Monday, and then next week, with high pressure off the east coast and kind of a west southwest wind, that should probably mean temperatures getting back up into the 90s and dew points getting back above 70. Little trough with some scattered thunderstorms late Wednesday. Doesn't look like much. And again on Thursday, and then something a little more serious perhaps on Friday of next week, where there's more general thunderstorm development from Maine down to North Carolina. But again, far down the road. It's safe to say, Joe, we've got nothing really major that's going to be happening over the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I agree. And looking quickly at the Climate Prediction Center, they've got well above normal probabilities for warmer than normal temperatures here in the Northeast and throughout much of the eastern half of the country for the next 8 to 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the precipitation forecast is for near normal precipitation. So it'll be hot or warm to hot, but at least it will not be drier than normal. That suggests that, from time to time we'll get a couple of showers here and there or whatever like that. So it's not a droughty type of situation to go along with the heat. But still, if you like warm weather, you'll be in your element because it looks like for the next couple of weeks, or at least the next week or 10 days, it's going to be rather warm.
You have Briller Jeopardy tonight?
Yes, I do. And I saw it just a few moments ago. Let me bring it up again. And we will present that to our faithful viewing audience. And in this particular case, or this particular round of Briller Jeopardy, what we have is that since 1969, Joe and everybody, the question is, what are the top 10 hurricanes with the lowest barometric pressure? That goes back again to 1969 now. The top 10 storms, top 10 hurricanes with the lowest barometric pressure.
Okay. I probably can quickly name 5 of them, but I'm going to let the chat board figure this out. I'm waiting for the first guess. So the 10 hurricanes with the lowest barometric pressure. So the one with the absolute lowest would be number 1.
Let me just, I don't want to interrupt anything, but here's the fallacy of everything here of naming particular storms. Everybody refers to Sandy as Superstorm Sandy. And I think you'll agree, Joe, if anything, on the list of barometric pressure and in terms of overall wind, Sandy was
not even close.
Not even close. Not even the top 20 or 30.
No, not even close.
Sandy was super only because of the unusual track it took relative to the New York City tri-state area. Most hurricanes usually take a track parallel to the eastern seaboard, right along the coastal plain from southwest to northeast. Sandy, if you recall, took a U-turn and went right into the central Jersey coast. That put New York and Long Island and northern New Jersey right in the right-hand quadrant of the storm,
right,
where the winds are at their worst and the actual effects of a hurricane are at their worst. And that's why we had all of the damage that was done to places like even along the Sound Shore in Westchester and, of course, Jones Beach and parts of northern central New Jersey. But it was not, it was not a major storm in terms of wind and in terms of...
Or pressure. Yeah, I mean, for pressure, when it was up here, it got down into the low 940s, which would be the equivalent of a Cat 4. But the problem is that the storm was, at that point, really was not tropical in the technical sense.
Right.
So it was post-tropical at that point. But that's another conversation for another day. I am going to include myself in this contest, but I will only point out the ones that I think the folks on the chat board are putting up there that are the correct answers. Okay, so we will start with Rich Rothmansky with Hurricane Wilma.
And Wilma on the list is at the top. Wilma in 2005, 882 millibars. I call Wilma the Al Roker storm. You may remember if you were watching the Today Show when they were doing live coverage of Wilma from Florida, and they had Al Roker down there. And at one point, the winds gusted so strongly that it actually knocked. And this is before Al had his
bypass.
He was still a very heavy guy, so to speak, and that wind knocked him off his feet. That's how strong the winds were with Wilma. And Wilma was, besides having 882 millibar, Wilma also was moving very rapidly in terms of forward speed. And the forward speed, combined with a very significant hurricane, will make those winds even more devastating, even stronger. So, but in terms of barometric pressure, Wilma, top of the list, 882 millibars in 2005.
Okay. Chuck Cardillo with Katrina.
Katrina actually is down at the lower end of the list. Katrina was number 7. Barometric pressure for Katrina was 902 millibars. That too, along with Wilma, occurred in the year 2005. 2005 was that year where I think it was the first time we ever ran out of names.
Yeah. Okay. So next, as I'm going down the list here, Steve LaPointe with Hurricane Michael.
I would have said Michael too, because Michael came to mind, but Michael is not on the
It just
list.
missed. Okay, I guess it's probably in the second 10. Patrick Darcy with Hurricane Gilbert.
Gilbert was number 2, and if any of you may remember, before Wilma came along, of course, Gilbert was number 1, and Nova, the wonderful PBS show Nova, did a whole hour on hurricanes and actually filmed from inside the Hurricane Hunter aircraft that went into Gilbert. And I still remember when they told the pilot where they wanted him to go and where they wanted him to position himself inside of Gilbert. The pilot of that Hurricane Hunter aircraft said, "Okay." He wasn't too thrilled about that. But Gilbert was up there at number 2 now on the list, 895 millibars, and that was back in 888 millibars, and that was back in 1988.
Okay. Mr. Gregorio is on the chat board again tonight. Andy, hi. He mentioned Camille.
Camille is number 6. Camille in 1969, right on the nose, 900 millibar pressure.
Frank Scalera with Rita.
Rita is number 3 on the list. That also one of the storms that occurred in 2005, that very busy year. Rita had a low barometric pressure of 895.
Okay. A few are mentioning Hurricane Allen, Allen.
Allen, I remember, was in the Gulf of Mexico in 1980, and Allen is on the list at number 5 at 899.
These are not landfall pressures, by the way, just so you know. Okay. From last year, Hurricane Milton.
Milton is there too, and in fact, Milton is tied with Rita in terms of low barometric pressure. In 2024, Milton had an 895 barometric pressure. Now,
Steve
so
LaPointe,
far,
the Labor Day hurricane would have made it on the list, but we're talking since 1969. So,
that's right.
okay. Rich Rothmansky. Oh, well, Chuck Cardillo, Hurricane Maria.
I would have, I remember Maria well.
It was close.
My daughter's name is Maria. No, it did not make it. You're right, Joe. Probably on this list, it probably would have been the second group of 10.
So I'll put Irma in there.
Irma is another one that just missed.
Just missed? Okay. Figures. Rich Rothmansky brings up Ivan or Ivan.
Named after our wonderful director.
Ivan, yes, Ivan.
Fios 1.
Ivan, I'm ready to record.
Yeah. But Ivan is not on the list of the top 10.
All right. How many do we have left?
You and our fine group of people on the chat board have gotten 7 out of the 10. So we only have 3 more to go.
Read me back what we got so far.
Wilma, Katrina, Gilbert, Camille, Rita, Allen, and Milton. And I'll throw a hint at you. This guy had a very popular show, sing-along show back in the 1960s.
Oh, of course, Mitch.
Mitch, right. 1988, Mitch, 905 millibars.
There was a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in the mid 90s that got down, I believe, to almost as low as Camille, but then pressure it didn't stay that way. And I want to say it's an the it's an it starts with the letter O.
Well, if it does, it's not on this
It's not
list.
on the list. Is it O? Was it Opal? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Um, okay. So now what do we have left? Two or one?
Just two left.
Um, so I'm sorry, was Ivan there or not?
No, Ivan was not there.
He was too busy recording me.
I'll
But
give you another hint for the one of the two. Everybody loves somebody sometime.
Hurricane Dean Martin?
Well, yeah, Dean.
Dean.
2007, 905 millibars.
Okay, and what's left? Just one
There's only one left. It starts with the letter D.
with a D. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I don't did with a D. No, it won't be. It can't be Donna because that was before 1969. So, but it starts with a D. Um,
Wikipedia says David, but that was
no,
not that was a strong storm, but not on the
not
list.
that strong. Durwood,
Durwood, no,
Denton,
not Denton either.
Dauphin. Where's Agnes Moorehead when you need her? Um, no, not Diablo. Steve Lapointe. Good guess, but not Diablo. Dennis
Not
says
David,
Chris.
not Donna, not
Uh,
Dennis,
not Dopey, not
not
Dora,
Dopey.
not Doris,
But there
Denise,
it is. David, Daniel, Seismic, Crywolf,
Dorian. Yes,
Dorian. Yes.
Dorian got below 900 and sat over the Nassau in the Bahamas for like 3 days.
Yep.
I wonder if that's been all rebuilt by now. I would hope so.
I hope.
Yeah. Any plans this weekend?
Uh, no, not really. Not really. They just get out and enjoy the great weather, the low humidity weather, the hopefully the bluer skies and the bright sunshine.
I ordered some more of those animal repellent things with the solar battery, the solar powered sound things. Because the ones I got seem to be working really well, but I needed a few more in other strategic parts of my yard, and I'm getting a delivery from Amazon tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be pl- planning where to put my new deer repellents. It's not that I dislike deer. I loved seeing deer, but I'm sorry, but my hostas are not a salad.
Yeah.
Okay. And I invested a lot of money in my hydrangeas, and they will be protected. I just want to be very clear on that. So on that, and
And I want to just mention what, in case you can't see it on the chat board, Andrew Gregorio says Donna, which occurred in September 1960, Donna is the only hurricane on record to spread hurricane force conditions all the way north from the Keys in Florida up the East Coast
yep,
to Maine. The only
correct.
storm that ever did that.
Yep, that is correct.
And somebody asked the other night, does Andy Gregorio did he work at News 12? You're getting him confused with James Gregorio,
Right.
who used to work at News 12.
No.
There are a lot of Gregorios out there.
Andy was an Albany guy.
Yes.
Yes. I did say how my chicken turned out. It was okay. It wasn't, it wasn't spectacular. I'd rather have Publix fried chicken. It was okay. It's just that, having to clean up an oily mess on the floor and taking my life into my own hands was not something that I was planning on having to deal with. And I don't want to deal with that again. So from now on, I will not make fried chicken. I'll make baked fried chicken, which I've done, which is a lot safer. So on that note, time to say goodnight, and we'll see everybody on Sunday at 7:35.
We'll see you then, folks.
Justin
Have a
Smith,
good weekend.
come on. Fried chicken does not smell like crap. Oh, deer spray. Oh, deer spray. I'm sorry. It's on a different conversation. Yes, actually, the deer spray, it smells like really, really strong provolone cheese. Okay? So if you're not used to the scent of provolone cheese, which I am growing up Italian, it doesn't bother me, but it does have a strong. I thought you were talking about fried chicken smelling bad. Fried chicken, I'm sorry, is one of those things that when you smell it, you gotta have it. So anyway, nighty night, everybody. We will see you. Um, we'll see you on Sunday.
Have fun, folks.